Most people train legs in calisthenics and walk away thinking they crushed it. Squats, lunges, maybe some jump variations and done. But let me hit you with something uncomfortable. You're probably skipping the very muscle group that decides whether your lower body becomes strong, athletic, and injury-proof, or stays stuck forever. Think about your last leg session. Did you train the muscles that stabilize your hips, control your knee tracking, and transfer power every time you jump, sprint, or balance? Or did you only train what looks like leg work? Here's the wild truth. Most calisthenics athletes completely ignore their hip abductors and adductors, the small muscles on the outside and inside of your thighs, the ones responsible for keeping your pelvis level, your knees from collapsing inward, and your entire lower body functioning like a precision machine. These muscles are like the supporting cast in a movie. Nobody talks about them until the whole show collapses without them, and the collapse happens slowly. Creaky knees, unstable single-leg exercises, plateaus that don't make sense. Sound familiar? Before we dive into how to train them correctly, let's talk about the mistakes almost everyone makes. First mistake, assuming squats hit everything. They don't. Squats and lunges are like learning to drive on a straight, empty highway. Sure, you're moving forward, but real control happens when you add turns, uneven roads, and unexpected conditions. That's what these smaller stabilizer muscles handle, the micro corrections that keep your movement safe and powerful. Second mistake, forcing reps with sloppy knees. If your knees cave in during squats, pistol squats, or step-ups, you're not getting stronger. You're just reinforcing bad mechanics that will catch up with you later. Ever look at a video of yourself and notice one knee drifting inward? That's your abductors and adductors throwing their hands in the air yelling, "We're not strong enough to handle this." And here comes the third mistake, the one almost no one realizes. People try to fix knee collapse by focusing on their feet or quads, when the problem is happening way higher up, at the hips. It's like seeing cracks in the top floor of a skyscraper and repainting the wall instead of checking the foundation. If the hips lack strength and stability, everything downstream suffers. Imagine trying to do pistol squats on a wobbly table. That table is your pelvis without trained abductors and adductors. Now here's where things get interesting, and this is just a taste of what we'll dive into next. When you learn the correct form and positioning that activates these muscles, your lower body changes instantly. Stability improves, power increases, your knees finally track the way they should, and suddenly the exercises that once felt unstable feel clean, controlled, and sharp. I'll break down exactly where your feet, hips, and torso should be, how to engage these muscles during bodyweight leg exercises, and how to go from just surviving reps to moving like a trained athlete. But before we move on, ask yourself one question. If you did 10 single leg squats right now, could you keep both knees perfectly aligned the whole time? If the answer is anything other than yes, then your next breakthrough is waiting right here. Most people train legs in calisthenics and walk away feeling proud. Squats, lunges, maybe pistol attempts if they're brave. A few explosive jumps to finish, and boom, leg day done. But let me hit you with a hard truth in the first 15 seconds. You are probably skipping the single muscle group that decides whether your legs get stronger or whether you stay stuck with the same shaky form, the same knee pain, and the same frustrating plateau. Think about your last session. Did you do anything to specifically train the muscles that control your knee alignment, stabilize your hips, and allow power to transfer efficiently when you sprint, climb, balance, or squat? Or did you just train the muscles that look like leg exercises on the surface? Here's the surprising reality most calisthenics athletes never hear. The hip abductors and adductors, the muscles on the outside and inside of your thighs, are the engine room of athletic leg strength. They determine how clean your movement is, how stable your pelvis stays, and how well your knees track over your feet. Yet in most people's workouts, these muscles might as well not exist. It's like watching a movie where the main actors are getting all the spotlight, while the supporting cast does all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. And if the supporting cast doesn't show up, the whole production falls apart. That's what happens with these muscles. Without them, your body starts compensating. Your knees collapse inward, your hips rotate, your balance wobbles, and you start wondering why the exercise just feels wrong even though you're pushing hard. Let me ask you something. Have you ever filmed yourself doing a squat or pistol squat and suddenly noticed one knee drifting inward like it's trying to escape? That is not a personal quirk. That is your body sending a flare in the sky screaming, "Hey, we can't control this movement yet." And here's the secret. The problem almost never starts at the knee. When the abductors and adductors don't fire correctly, the knee is forced to deal with the consequences. Imagine a skyscraper with a weak foundation. The higher floors aren't the issue. The base is. But most people try to fix the cracks by repainting the walls instead of reinforcing the foundation. That's exactly what happens when athletes try to fix knee collapse by pushing outward with their feet or concentrating on their quads. They're addressing symptoms, not the cause. Now, let's expose the biggest mistakes athletes make, starting with the simplest one. Mistake number 1, believing that squats hit everything. They don't. Traditional bilateral squats are great, but they mostly move in one plane, straight up and straight down. It's like learning to drive only on straight, empty roads. Sure, you're moving forward, but what happens when you hit a tight turn, uneven pavement, or need to parallel park in a narrow spot? Real control comes from responding to movement in every direction. That's the job of the abductors and adductors, micro-corrections that keep your hips neutral and your knees aligned when movement becomes unpredictable, explosive, or single-legged. And in calisthenics, think pistols, shrimp squats, sprinting, jumping, climbing. A lot of the best movements rely on single-leg mechanics. Mistake number 2, rushing reps with sloppy mechanics. You've seen it, maybe even done it. Someone knocking out fast squats or lunges, but their knees wobble like they're negotiating with gravity. They hit their rep number, stand up feeling accomplished, but all they really did was rehearse a bad pattern. Strength isn't just about muscles contracting, it's about teaching your body to move efficiently. If your knees are collapsing, your brain is learning that collapse is normal. And the more you practice it, the harder it becomes to unlearn. Mistake number 3 might be the most important, training without actually feeling the right muscles working. Ever finish a workout and think, why did I feel that entirely in my quads or lower back? That's what happens when stabilizers aren't contributing. The prime movers, quads, glutes, hamstrings, step in and take over because the smaller muscles aren't strong enough to do their share. It's the equivalent of a 3-person group project where only one person actually does the work. And just like in school, eventually somebody burns out. That somebody tends to be your knees, your hips, or your lower back. But here's where things start to get exciting. When you understand how to activate these smaller muscles, everything changes fast. I've seen athletes who struggled with pistol squats for months suddenly lock in their balance within one session, not by getting stronger overall, but by finally engaging the muscles that control the movement. Imagine standing on a wobbly table trying to do leg work. It doesn't matter how strong your legs are. If the surface under you is unstable, everything feels harder. Your pelvis is that surface. When your abductors and adductors improve, your base becomes stable and the rest of your movement becomes smoother, safer, and more powerful. Here's a quick light bulb moment. You can test your stability right now, no equipment, no warm-up. Stand on one leg, keep your torso tall. Now bend the knee slightly and watch what your knee does. If it naturally drifts inward even a centimeter, your stabilizers aren't doing their job yet. And that's not a failure, it's valuable feedback. It's your nervous system telling you exactly where your training should go next. Imagine if every leg exercise you did from here on out felt planted, solid, and controlled. No shakiness, no wasted energy, no collapsing joints. That's what we're heading toward. And I'm not just going to tell you, engage your hips and leave you confused. I'm going to break down, step by step, exactly how your feet should be planted, how your hips should be aligned, how your core locks the position, and how to activate the stabilizers so they finally wake up and start helping, instead of watching from the sidelines. We're going to layer it, the simple fundamentals first, then intermediate fixes, then advanced tweaks that make your movements look and feel like an athlete who knows exactly what they're doing. But before we go deeper, ask yourself honestly, if you tried 10 single-leg squats right now, could you keep both knees perfectly aligned from start to finish? If your answer is anything other than a confident yes, then you're in exactly the right place, because the next section is where everything starts to change. Most people crush leg day but ignore the muscles that truly control knee alignment and hip stability, the abductors and adductors. If your knees cave during squats or pistols, that's the warning sign. Train these stabilizers and your balance, power, and movement control instantly improve.